Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Today I want to talk about the psychology of those who can dish it, but they can't take it back. So, as you all know, the queen of the colorism conversation has decided to respond to the exotical space here on YouTube. Not only do I stand 10 toes down on every comment I've made and everything that I've ever laughed at, but have you guys ever noticed the types of people who can dish it out, but then they can't take it back? But guess what? She didn't refute any of my talking points because the exoticals have united. That's right, the exoticals, the neurologicals, the diabolicals, the psychoticals. We have all united. And I am so glad that Chrissy has finally fallen for my psychological trap of responding to not just my channel, but to the exotical sector as a whole. So if you have an exotical channel, if your channel has the word exotical in the titles or the thumbnails or your channel name or in your tags, your channel is going to grow over the next 6 months because she has finally fallen into the trap. She used the terminology that we use. This is the name of our entire sector. So now everybody who clicked on that video and watches it, all of those people are now triggering the algorithm to have exotical channels pop up in their algorithm. And we are going to be converting subscribers. And that is really what Chrissy seems to be threatened by. She's threatened at the fact that her subscribers are also subscribing to the channels over here. I know it for a fact because a lot of people actually tell me, hey, I used to subscribe to Chrissy's channel as well, and now I'm over on your channel. So she's threatened by the fact that now, after people are done watching her live streams and listening to her, they're going to have to listen to us, or they're going to have our channels popping up. So if you're thinking about starting a channel or you want to talk about things like colorism, texturism, or featurism from your experience, I highly recommend starting it as soon as possible because Chrissy is actually a pivotal factor in this stuff becoming mainstream. I told you guys that I believe that this exotical space will become mainstream, and Chrissy just fell into my psychological trap, and she has proven herself to be a catalyst for this. So please be sure to keep uploading and stuff because people are going to convert, especially because we actually have good content over here and we actually are empowering other people. Notice how on Chrissy's channel, she doesn't tell her followers to start their own channels because she likes dominating. So you know how Nicki Minaj, she really liked being the queen of rap and she liked being the only female rapper. By the way, no shade to Nicki Minaj. I really like her, but she liked being the only female rapper, and then she seemed like she got upset when all these other female rappers were coming along and kind of doing their own thing, and some of them were even talking their shit. That is Chrissy. Chrissy has been the Nicki Minaj of the colorism conversation for a long time. She's been the Nicki Minaj of kind of this black, I guess, empowerment content for a long time. And now that she has fallen for our trap, she is going to cause people to flood over here in the coming months because, trust me, that word exotical, I have purposely been tagging that word in every single one of my videos. You guys happen to name your channels that, which is awesome. And she has been throwing so many subliminal shots at us to the point where all of her subscribers, because she has a very messy fan base, and by the way, that's fine because I like to do a lot of trolling over here as well, but she has a messy fan base that is going to be here for the drama. So they're going to come over to all of our channels, and some of them are going to convert, and they're going to stay viewers. And remember, YouTube pays you based on viewers, and also the more your watch time goes up, the more your channel will go up in the algorithm. So I'm so happy that Chrissy has finally fallen for the psychological trap because I could already tell what her weakness was from a mile away, which was lack of emotional control. So she is clearly spiraling, as a lot of you guys have been saying. But anyway, let's get back into the content. Have you ever noticed how whenever you actually make valid points, as I have on over 500 videos on this channel, instead of actually addressing those points, those people decide to resort to name calling while simultaneously trying to shame you for laughing at name calling. And the funny thing is, if Chrissy really wanted to accuse me of being racist and colorist, she could have at least played audio clips of me talking about Krusty Lip Alley. She could have at least shown the screenshots of my Dave Chappelle crackhead memes or played audio clips of me calling them colorism crybabies. I mean, if you want to paint me as a colorist and a racist, you gotta do it right. Oh, but I thought that all of my subscribers and views were fake, though. So, I mean, if this whole space is fake and irrelevant and all of us are just bots or AI generated, then why would she feel the need to respond? Oh, could it be that she's actually threatened by little old me? It's clear that Chrissy is pissy. Not only that, but have you noticed the selective outrage in the Black female empowerment community when it comes to laughing at troll videos, but I don't see any outrage about the actual injustices that are happening to Black women. I don't see any actual outrage when it comes to the injustices that are happening in the United States or within the community. No, it's all about what Exoticals United was laughing at on YouTube. And this just goes to show, ladies, what I talk about on this channel all the time, which is that if people perceive you as having more social power and influence than them, it causes them to have kind of these psychotic episodes where they feel the need to try to come on and hurry up and stream, and they're going to attempt to deplatform you or cancel you. But anybody who has been on this channel and who has studied sociology knows that it's actually impossible to cancel someone. The only way that someone can be canceled is if they themselves quit doing what they're doing. And the Exoticals have united, baby. We're not going anywhere. So if you're new to this space, we have about 50 different channels at this point, and all of us are talking about things from our perspectives. And so we have the right to utilize whatever humor we want to use. We have the right to use whatever satire or editing styles we feel we want to use. Yes, I am going to continue to use my Dave Chappelle crackhead memes. I am going to continue to call Lipstick Alley Crusty Lip Alley. I will continue to use phrases like colorism crybabies to describe the overwhelming victim mentality and inferiority complexes that are promoted on channels like Chrissy's. Notice how she didn't refute my talking points about inferiority complexes. She says that we accused her of having a victim mentality, but she didn't deny that she had one. In fact, she doubled down on it. Chrissy is fighting for that space at the top. She wants to be the #1 victim. She is not backing down from that. So if she wants to be the queen of the victims, I mean, by all means, she can have that crown. Also, notice how Chrissy said that my channel was a struggle channel, but then she said that I copied her channel. So it's like, wait, Chrissy, if I have a struggle channel, but then I copied your channel, wouldn't that mean that your channel is a struggle channel too? Or do you have to admit that I actually do have solid talking points over here in the Pretty Girl Club? And then she's like, oh, Exoticals United, she's stalking me, oh my God. And it's funny how people love to say that I'm stalking them or I'm threatening them. And I guess by stalking, she means me subscribing to her YouTube channel and being a part of her members page. And it's like, Chrissy, you know that you can block people, right? And you can stop people from being members. Oh no, but she's gonna take her $12.99. So, do you see the hypocrisy? And also, have you ever noticed the hypocrisy in the Black community where they can call each other burnt, crispy, the N-word? They called Chili from TLC, who is a mixed woman, they called her burnt. They call each other names all the time. And then if a mixed race person who they say is still Black, according to the one-drop rule, says the same thing or even laughs, suddenly you're a colorist, texturist, and featurist. And also, I just want to make it clear that I said from day one, I didn't come on YouTube so that I could be fucking Mother Teresa. I came on YouTube so that I could express myself and talk my shit. And so I'm going to continue to do so. As long as my YouTube channel is fitting in with the community guidelines, I have the right to give whatever commentary I want. I have the right of freedom of speech. Yes, that's right. I get to laugh at whatever videos I want to laugh at. I get to laugh at whatever editing I want to laugh at. I stand 10 toes down on it, and I'm never apologizing. Just like how Chrissy didn't apologize for her videos against light-skinned Black women that she has now hidden and she will never put back up because she's too scared. Oh, and also, speaking of struggle channels, let's talk about how Chrissy's channel has been on the decline for years now. So much so to the point where she herself said that she no longer wants to talk about colorism because now she's got about 50 or so channels that she will have to respond to if she makes any more comments about women of a lighter skin tone or mixed race women. So have you noticed how she conveniently decides to bow out of the conversation and make me look like, oh my God, I'm such a mean girl girl. Oh, and by the way, she made a talking point that, oh, the Exoticals, they like to make themselves like they're these sweet angels. I never called myself a sweet angel, but thank you so much for the compliment. I mean, I'm so glad that you put this space on such a high pedestal to the point where you feel the need to respond to a channel with a bunch of fake subscribers and fake views. I mean, wow, isn't that crazy? Imagine being so insecure that you have to respond to a robot on YouTube. But notice how Chrissy thought that she ate with that live stream. She thought that she was going to shut me up. She thought that I'd be so sad and so upset. She thought that I would get mad and call her a bully for all of the names that she called me. But nope, because unlike Chrissy, I know how to embrace my flaws and my negative qualities, and I know how to practice radical self-love and radical self-acceptance. So that's right, feel free to call me Diabolicals United or Psychoticals United. You can call me whatever you want, but we're not going anywhere because at this point, there are over 19,000 women in the Pretty Girl Club who can relate to the talking points of this channel. And once again, notice how Chrissy didn't refute any of the talking points. All she did was show screenshots saying, hey, you shouldn't watch Exoticals United because, you know, she was laughing at this guy who threatened to unalive me, which, by the way, obviously I wouldn't know that someone's threatening to unalive her, but people put me on a pedestal so high to the point where my fake-ass, robotic-ass, fake-ass viewer channel is so threatening to someone with 225,000 YouTube subscribers. Oh, and speaking of subscribers that are inactive, Chrissy, what's been going on with your views lately? Because the last time I checked, your views have been steadily on the decline. And has anyone also noticed how a lot of the YouTube channels in that sector, they don't tell their subscribers to start their own channels, to tell their own stories, to make money? Oh no, because that's going to take away from their revenue. They would rather be the only ones that get to talk and get to decide everything. A lot of these people have no relevance in real life, and so they feel the need to come online and stalk what we're doing. Oh, and also, if all of us are just white women or unambiguous black women who hate ourselves, well then, once again, wouldn't you be trying to get us to subscribe to your channel, Chrissy? Wouldn't you want us to watch your channel? You know, seeing as we all have the exact same experiences of being quote-unquote at the bottom, according to you? And also, notice how Chrissy spent the last 15 years on YouTube saying that she wanted an exclusive space for unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women with broad features and 4C hair, and I respected that. In fact, Chrissy even said out of her own mouth, no one's stopping you guys from creating your own YouTube channels. But now that we've got over 50 YouTube channels in a rival space to her YouTube channel, suddenly she gets mad and accuses us of having fake subscribers and fake views. And it's like, wait, Chrissy, all we're doing is obeying what you said. We're just obeying the master. So she starts off screaming from the abyss of YouTube for almost 10 years, talking about colorism and how she wants to have a colorism conversation. And then after allowing her to share her side of the story for 7 years straight, as well as the thousands of other black women empowerment YouTube channels, we decided to create channels for light-skinned women or mixed-race women, for biracial women, or for darker-skinned women who benefit from texturism or featureism. And now suddenly, because we are responding to Chrissy's initial content, now we are racist and colorist, and she's no longer talking about colorism while simultaneously making an hour-long live stream accusing us of being colorist. But then notice how she doesn't actually say which talking points are colorist. All she can do is show screenshots of people laughing in comment sections. Meanwhile, if you look at Chrissy's past content, she has laughed at plenty of people from the mixed race community who have been cheated on by black men. She laughed at the situation with Neo when he cheated on the woman he was with and then he did her dirty. She laughs at relationship breakups all the time. She called me Diabolicals United, which I gladly embrace. So not only does she laugh at whatever she wants to laugh at, but then if I do the exact same thing, suddenly I'm racist and colorist. So do you see how this actually proves my talking point that a lot of women will hide behind calling you a racist and colorist because they simply do not want to have a conversation about your actual talking points. And so they will use racism and colorism to deflect from actually addressing the true issue, which is the fact that they're threatened by all of us over here in the Pretty Girl Club making our own YouTube channels. And notice how instead of simply admitting that I actually have good content, she resorts to saying, oh, basically, she has trash content and then all of her good content is stolen from me. Meanwhile, she didn't copyright anything, so I don't see where she has copyrighted any particular phrases or talking points. And also, not to mention the fact that I'm a proud hypocrite, I'm a proud thief, I am a proud demonical, diabolical, psychological, neurotical, exotical, or whatever else you want to call me. Also, have you noticed how people are trying to make it as if we are bothered by dark-skinned black women having their own spaces, but then they're bothered by us having ours? Also, if you look at this screenshot from Chrissy's own YouTube channel, this person even admits that most of Chrissy's commentary is about black men and their preference. And notice how Chrissy called me black male-centered? Projection much? Because if you look right here, one of your own subscribers, K Deja Vu, is talking about how that's what most of Chrissy's commentary is about. And so it's no wonder Chrissy doesn't like anyone who is perceived as privileged in the eyes of black men. And also, the last time I checked, Chrissy is pro-swirl, but she herself dates black men. So don't you find it interesting how a black woman who dates black men is threatened by quote-unquote preferences or quote-unquote exoticals making channels where we are empowering ourselves and talking about our pretty privilege? But this comment says, I don't get why she says Chrissy hates them. I think calling out any colorism, and I don't agree with everything, triggers them. Most of Chrissy's commentary is about black men and their preference. It's very unfortunate. I was sickened listening to this commentary all while hearing her accusing Chrissy of hate. Yes, it seems that Chrissy hates the decline that she is seeing in terms of her colorism. She has even admitted on her previous live streams that she recently did over the past month that when it comes to the colorism conversation, she's still at step 1 and step 2. So don't you think that that's proof that if you created content for 7 years, Chrissy, and you still haven't seen any results, wouldn't you say that that's kind of a failure? I mean, if I have to spend 7 years on YouTube trying to explain to black women what colorism is and how to overcome it, and I still admit after 7 years of content that we are only at step 1, wouldn't that be time for me to rethink my YouTube strategy? Oh, not to mention the fact that Chrissy removed her former colorism videos because most of them were actually videos that were about light-skinned black women, particularly light-skinned women who had type 4 hair. She also said that Hazel E looks like Gonzo in the face. She also made videos about dark-skinned black women being threatened by women who have lighter skin tones, and of course she's never going to put those videos back up because that would just do too good of a job proving my point. And have you also noticed how instead of actually addressing our talking points, they decide to resort to what is an exotical? So a lot of people have this habit of, instead of addressing your actual talking points where you're saying, hey, you guys have antagonized us or used texturism and featureism against us, or you guys are trying to push us in and out of blackness, instead of them acknowledging that or wanting to talk about that, they would rather argue about what an exotical is, because they're so great at focusing on what the most important things are. But I've noticed that after all this time that she spent being the top dog in kind of the black empowerment space, she is now threatened that our space has over 50 YouTube channels. By the way, for anyone watching, I highly recommend starting a YouTube channel so that you can add to this conversation, because every voice deserves to be heard. Every woman of every complexion, every hair texture, every racial mix, all of us deserve to be heard. But have you guys noticed how a lot of people, they can dish it out, but they can't take it? A lot of people don't actually want to have a conversation. They simply want to stand on their soapbox and say their points of view, and then if you respond, then of course you are racist and colorist and a bully. Not to mention the fact that some of these women who claim to be so pro-black will go and swirl and divest with non-black men and create more exoticals. Oh, and by the way, I noticed that Chrissy tried to imply that I don't support the swirling movement. I have no problem with unambiguous black women creating more and more babies that will continue to build our community. I mean, the multiracial community is growing. It is one of the fastest growing demographics in the United States. And so mixed race people are not going anywhere. People with golden skin tones are not going anywhere. Dark skinned mixed women are not going anywhere. So you might as well get used to us. Because the Exoticals, the Psychoticals, and the Diabolicals have united, and we're not going anywhere. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.